What's up, people? Dollar Store Asmongold here to tell you about how Ubisoft wasted their money. Or, more specifically, how Ubisoft wasted their money on promoting Assassin's Creed Shadows. As we all know, the numbers are bad, right? I don't care what anybody says about, oh, the player count, blah, 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 blah. We know the numbers are bad, whether you're a fan of the series or not. When you look at the total number of sales that are coming out, especially overseas, the numbers are not good. They're just not, right? They're actually kind of abysmal. And the number of active players on Steam was abysmal. Obviously, they're not going to tell us what these numbers are until things go through. I would say maybe another couple months. Maybe then we'll get some actual sales numbers. But until then, they're going to keep riding this as far as they can. So, Nick Lombardi, who is the co-founder at Streamforge, and basically what they do is aggregate data, right, in terms of, I think, marketing. But they Nick here did a piece on what Ubisoft spent to promote Assassin's Creed Shadows via social media and influencers. And the article is actually really good. So we're going to look at the article. I'm not just going to sit here and, whinge about it the whole time. We're actually going to read the article. How Ubisoft spent $2.1 million on influencers to secure the launch of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Yeah, once we get to the part where you see how much they paid these influencers, obviously the 2.1 million is an aggregation of everything that they spent. But when you look at how much they paid each individual influencer, it's kind of crazy, right? So here's his introduction of what is this and why am I doing it? Welcome to my ongoing deep dives into influencer marketing for major game launches. Having analyzed Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, great game, Monster Hunter Wilds, great game, Fragpunk, don't know, and Split Fiction, great game. Today I'm breaking down Ubisoft's long-awaited Assassin's Creed Shadows released on March 20th. These analyses leverage Steamforge's tech to give marketers transparent, actionable insights into how leading publishers are allocating influencer budgets. My goal remains consistent: help industry professionals benchmark their campaigns and uncover strategies that work. I am not affiliated with Ubisoft, and all budget figures are estimates based on publicly available data and market rates from Steamforge's algorithm. That's, of course, he has to put that disclaimer in there because he's, going outside of Ubisoft. So here's the chronological overview, the timeline from pre-launch to launch, right? The road to Shadows was remarkably long, even by AAA standards. Ubisoft first revealed the Japan set project, then called Codename Red, back in September 2022, meaning the full marketing cycle spanned over 2.5 years. So 2.5 years from, rumors, the rumor mill, to the time that the game actually released. Beginning with September 10th, 2022, initial reveal as Codename Red during Ubisoft Forward. Next thing was May 15th, 2024, official Shadows title reveal with cinematic trailer, initial November 2024 release date. June 10th of 24, extended gameplay demo at Ubisoft Forward. August 19th of 24, one duo, two playstyles trailer released. September 25th of 24, first delay announcement, where they bumped it into February, right? January 9th of 25 is when they pushed it back again, which was the second delay, to March 20th. January 23rd of 25, the story trailer and live stream preview event. And February through March 25, final marketing push with multiple brand partnerships, which is where this article comes into play with the influencer payments. March 20th, 2025 was the global launch. So this extraordinarily long runway allowed Ubisoft to build anticipation over time, though the two delays interrupted momentum. So I'm going to kind of disagree with this take on this time frame allowed them to build up anticipation, when in actuality all of this time did was allow people to crap all over the game, which is exactly what they were doing. Yes, you have the hardcore fans that were sitting there saying, I'm going to play this no matter what, because I love Assassin's Creed. But everybody else, like myself, was going, wait a minute, this is bad, this is wrong, that's not good, that's bad, that's wrong, don't do that, it really don't do that. And they did it anyway. So I don't agree with this time frame and calling it anticipation. I would in fact say that it was dread rather than anticipation. Brand collaborations. And some of these I didn't even know that they did. There's a couple in here that I was like, who even knew about this? Wait a minute. What audience are they even trying to target with this? Right? So, what stands out about Assassin's Creed Shadows' marketing strategy was Ubisoft's exceptional use of brand partnerships in the months leading up to launch. Unlike the more streamlined approaches we saw with Split Fiction or Fragpunk, Ubisoft created a tapestry of collaborations that extended far beyond gaming into lifestyle, apparel, and even food and beverage. That one was... Once he covers it, I'll talk about it. The Lexip hardware collaboration, announced February 20th, brought themed gaming peripherals like mice, headsets, and keyboards that blended feudal Japan aesthetics with gaming functionality. I didn't even know they did this. And honestly, I kind of want to see what it was that they did here. Okay, here's... How does that blend feudal Japan? You have the Assassin's Creed logo. You got some architecture here. The headset looks like it has some sort of maybe Great Wave on there, cherry blossom, something, I don't know. No, all of this looks like crap. And that would explain why I didn't see it. I'm just saying. I would love to see the sales numbers on that. This was followed by the Creative Madrinas Coffee partnership, February 25th, which also was my birthday, that introduced character-inspired boba teas. Boba's not Japanese, bro. And when you look at the social dynamics between the entirety of the Eastern region in history, between China and Japan and Korea, whatever. Yasuke strawberry matcha milk tea and Naoe's cherry blossom fruit tea. These unique consumable tie-ins transform the game's identity into tangible products fans could literally taste. Oh god. Okay, I'm gonna make it through. Because obviously this article isn't intending to shit all over Ubisoft as much as I wish they would. And why? And I feel like they were just throwing ideas at the wall that were even just vaguely Asian in style and going, money. It's gonna work. Money. Here's the money. Here's all the money. Like, I don't understand why they did half the crap they did with this game. I truly don't. I could say something about the Canadians and the French. I'm not going to, but let's continue. Most impressive was Ubisoft's dual apparel strategy just before launch, partnering simultaneously with combat sports brand Venom for performance wear, MMA gear, rash guards, boxing gloves, and trendy streetwear label Antisocial Social Club for a limited fashion capsule. This two-pronged approach targeted both athletic consumers and fashion-forward audiences, expanding Shadow's reach well beyond traditional gaming demographics. But again, why? You want to target a specific demographic when it comes to this stuff. You want to. Which is why I don't understand they did half the stuff that they did with this game. You want to target a specific demographic, especially when it's a game about feudal Japan. Why wouldn't you target the people that love Japanese history? Or feudal Japan for that matter? Why? What? Whose idea was it to go, yep, female sumo wrestler. Yep, minor figure in Japanese history. What? Why? Why would you do that? You could have made so much money. So much money. And I saw people going, oh, well, everybody's just mad that the protagonist wasn't white. No, people were mad the protagonist wasn't Japanese. That's what they were mad about. That's what they were mad about. That's what I was mad about. Why weren't they both Japanese? Why? Why would you do this? God. The Red Bull parkour stunt. Perhaps the most creative pre-launch activation came through Ubisoft's partnership with Red Bull. On March 10th, just 10 days before launch, they released a vile parkour video featuring professional freerunners performing Assassin's Creed style moves at an actual ninja-themed park in Japan. Okay, that's kind of cool. That makes sense. This content marketing masterclass showed top parkour athletes, including Tom Di Tommaso and Nao Diorgina, recreating iconic Assassin's Creed moves, including the Leap of Faith, perfectly aligning with the game's emphasis on movement and traversal. By leveraging Red Bull's extreme sports audience and filming in Japan, this stunt created authentic crossover content that resonated far beyond gaming circles. That's actually a pretty cool idea. I have no problem with that. That's smart. And it was in Japan. Go figure. They did something in Japan. My God. Smart. The Twitch Drops program. Similar to what we observed with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Ubisoft integrated a Twitch Drops campaign to boost Shadow's viewership and reward participating creators. Most game devs do this at this point. This was a two-phase promotion aligned with launch timelines. Phase 1, open to all drops, March 18th through March 25th, 2025. For the first week of release, any Twitch channel streaming under the Assassin's Creed Shadows category could offer viewers in-game rewards. Viewers who watched the Shadow stream for certain durations would earn exclusive cosmetic items. Examples: the Naue Spirit headband after 1 hour, Spirit Kasode outfit 2 hours, and Oath Tonto dagger 4 hours. Phase 2, exclusive UCP creators drops, March 26th through April 2nd of 25. After the first week, Ubisoft ran a second drops campaign limited only to approved Ubisoft Creator Program members, and we're getting to that. This two-tier Twitch strategy leveraged both the general streaming community and the Ubisoft-affiliated creators. It maximized Shadow's presence on Twitch, keeping it trending in directories through the open drops, and then funneled the audience to Ubisoft's chosen partners in the second wave. And once we get to the chosen partners, I've heard of one. Y'all may have heard of the rest of them. I've only heard of one, and we're getting to that. This, I didn't even know this was a thing. And it just goes to show exactly what I said of them throwing money at stuff in the hopes that maybe they can pull as much revenue as possible from as many people as possible, instead of, going the usual route of, giving the fans what they want. So the Lofi Girl collaboration, or Lo-Fi, depends on how you say it. In a particularly creative move, Ubisoft partnered with the immensely popular, I'm just going to say Lo-Fi Girl channel shortly after launch, March 26th, to release Stealthy Beats to Relax To, a 20-track album of lo-fi remixes from the game soundtrack. While technically post-launch, this collaboration demonstrates the kind of innovative thinking that extended the marketing window beyond the traditional pre-launch launch boundary. By tapping into the massive lo-fi music community, Lo-Fi Girls channel has over 11 million subscribers. Ubisoft reached potential players who might never see a traditional game trailer on or Twitch stream. Or hear me out, or you had a bunch of people that had the window minimized in the background while they were at work or school or studying or whatever, and aren't actually paying attention to what's on the screen. There's that. The animated music video showing Naue peacefully painting under a cherry blossom tree in Lo-Fi Girls' signature style represented a perfect cultural bridge between gaming and broader internet culture. Yeah, okay. Alright. I guess. This kind of activation exemplifies how publishers can maintain momentum after the initial launch spike. Yeah. How did that go? Can tell you how it went on Steam. They couldn't break 65,000 players. In fact, last time I checked, it was something like 64 and some change. Couldn't break it. They may have done it now, but up until like Saturday, they still hadn't done it. So, but 3 million players, right? 3 million players. Their creator program. Ubisoft began promoting its creator program months ahead of Assassin's Creed Shadows release, encouraging content creators across platforms to join in anticipation of upcoming opportunities tied to the game. Through social posts in its official creator program portal, Ubisoft highlighted benefits like early access, free game keys. They were throwing out game keys like candy. Exclusive assets and eligibility for co-streaming and sponsored content. In fact, they banned one of the sponsors for playing early, when in actuality that streamer wasn't playing early, and they were rightfully pissed that Ubisoft banned them as a sponsored player and basically screwed up their entire plan. So there was that. That happened. You can go look it up. Assassin's Creed specific messaging appeared as early as August 2023, with Ubisoft teasing exclusive drops for creators focused on the franchise. By launch, Shadows was officially listed among the supported titles, and creators had access to materials tailored for the game. Leading into release, Ubisoft offered early access to select creator program members, distributing free game keys and press builds under embargo. The embargo lifted on March 18, 2025, 2 days before launch, triggering a coordinated wave of YouTube videos, live streams, and TikTok content from creators who had played the game early. Public posts from creators confirmed Ubisoft's involvement, with many disclosing the partnership via tags like #UbisoftPartner. Ubisoft provided access to creators across all tiers, from large YouTubers to smaller streamers, ensuring wide coverage and sustained pre-launch buzz. So here's where we get into some actual numbers, right? The number of creators that used Ubisoft Partner in their content across each platform was as follows: 689 creators on Twitch, 178 creators on YouTube, 105 creators on TikTok. Last year, Ubisoft posted that they had over 9,000 creators in their program, which means they had around a 10% conversion rate for their program. 10%? What? Okay. Content volume and platform distribution. Now we're getting to, number salad here. Now that we've covered the broader marketing activations, let's take a look at the reach that Ubisoft got for their game. In total, Assassin's Creed Shadows generated an impressive 179.4 million views from content creators. And we have to look at this as a total, right? Not that there were 179 million people waiting for this game to come out, but people that were just going to watch these streamers regardless, or people that were hate watching, or people that were watching because they genuinely wanted to like the game, or want to like the game, or do like the game, right? So I'm not going to break all this down. You can easily see it here. What immediately stands out is the extreme dominance of YouTube videos, accounting for nearly half of all viewership. Not surprising. You got a lot of younger kids that like Twitch, and a lot of older audience members that like YouTube. In my case, I won't touch Twitch with a 10-foot pole. I won't even stream on Twitch. I refuse to. Sorry, you guys are going to have to watch me here, or at least until YouTube kicks me off and then I go somewhere else. But it ain't going to be Twitch, I can tell you that. TikTok shows impressive performance as well, generating more than 3 times the views of Twitch despite similar sponsored investment. Meanwhile, YouTube streams saw the highest percentage of sponsored content at a whopping 76.9%, suggesting Ubisoft heavily prioritized live YouTube coverage but found limited organic pickup there. In other words, exactly what I just said, where people were watching their favorite creators, and it just so happened to be Assassin's Creed that the creator was covering. They don't really give a shit about the game, they care about the creator. The overall 6.6% sponsored content rate indicates Ubisoft achieved substantial organic amplification beyond paid partnerships, though this ratio is higher than what we saw with Monster Hunter Wilds, 2.7%, and slightly higher than Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 at 6%. So, again, this isn't really saying that all this high viewership caused copies to be sold or for people to play the game. This is just what they were spending to promote the game, right? And until those numbers come out, it sounds like it was a waste of money. So let's look at the budget allocation breakdown, right? Twitch, estimated budget for Twitch was $1.1 million. $665,000 on YouTube video, $153,000 on YouTube streams, $90,000 on TikTok, $13,000 on YouTube Shorts. So we got 3 different types of YouTube content that they were targeting, whereas you just have TikTok, right? And then you just have Twitch. This distribution reflects a strategy focused on deeper engagement rather than maximizing raw view counts. Despite YouTube videos and TikTok generating the lion's share of views, Twitch received over half the total budget. This suggests Ubisoft valued the longer play sessions and community building aspects of Twitch, paralleling the approach we saw with Fragpunk's Twitch-heavy campaign. Similar to previous games analyzed, short form content, YouTube Shorts and TikTok, was significantly underinvested relative to viewership. Combined, these platforms delivered 40% of total views while receiving just 5.1% of the budget, highlighting the cost effectiveness of short form content that we've consistently observed. So, again, cost efficiency analysis. We can keep going into looking at these numbers. 90,000 that they spent on TikTok, 13 on YouTube Shorts, 153. It's the same numbers, right? So once again, we see a familiar pattern. Short form content delivers by far the most cost-effective reach, obviously because people have the attention spans of goldfish. So of course it's going to do better. With TikTok, 23.83 CPM, and CPM is cost per 1,000 views, right? And YouTube Shorts at $26.25 cost per 1,000 views, performing exceptionally well. The efficiency gap between these platforms and Twitch at $418, $418, Jesus, is dramatic. Twitch costs nearly 18 times more per view than TikTok. So they went from $23 on TikTok to spending $418 per 1,000 views, which is a lot and explains why their budget, allocated more to Twitch than anybody else. However, raw CPM comparisons don't tell the complete story. Twitch offers much deeper engagement, with viewers typically watching for extended periods versus the brief engagements of TikTok. This explains why Ubisoft allocated so much budget to Twitch despite its higher cost. They were investing in quality over quantity. And I don't think that's completely accurate. I mean, I know people that just leave Twitch on in the background and go do whatever. I mean, hell, Hassan gets up and walks away during half of his streams and people will sit there glued to the stream, right? I've even seen that happen with other creators where it's, there's nothing happening, but they still have, hundreds of thousands of people sitting there watching. Amaranth, for instance, that's another one. Creator demographics and targeting. One of the more interesting things we can dive into are the demographics of the creators that were sponsored by Ubisoft. Normally, you wouldn't be able to arrive at these kinds of insights because, for example, Twitch doesn't tell you the country of a creator, or the gender or age range of creators is generally unavailable. Well, luckily, I can use Streamforge's AI analysis to compute demographic information for creators, among many other interesting data points. So look at the language distribution here, right? English, 53%. English, 54%. English, 52%. That's TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch, respectively. On Twitch, English, German, French, Portuguese, and Spanish were the main content creators. On YouTube, it was English, Sinhalese, German, Polish, and Portuguese. And on TikTok, it was English, German, Portuguese, Italian, Spanish. So, obviously English because of the US market, right? The rest of these are negligible for the most part. Whereas, it makes sense to spend a lot of your money on an English-speaking audience. Now, I would argue that in this case, I would have spent more money focusing on Japan, considering it's a game set in Japan with one half of a Japanese protagonist about Japanese history. You would think they would have done more to target, that demographic, maybe, possibly. Just saying. There's remarkable consistency across platforms, with English content accounting for roughly half of all sponsored partnerships. Again, that makes sense. What stands out is the strong secondary focus on German, which appears prominently across all platforms, except on YouTube, where it was at 4.1% versus 17% and 10% on TikTok. So, this suggests a strategic emphasis on the German market, similar to what we observed in Split Fiction's campaign. Again, why did they focus on the German market? Why not focus on the Japanese market? Oh, right. Because they didn't want to focus on the Japanese market. Because there was already enough shit going on in Japan about this game that of course they didn't want to focus on the Japanese market. That would be stupid. Country distribution. United States, United States, United States, Germany, UK, 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 India, Australia, the rest of the countries. Again, the US being at the top makes sense. That's arguably the largest market. The geographic targeting follows a similar pattern, with English-speaking markets, US, UK, and Australia, receiving substantial focus. Germany again stands out as a high-priority market. Interestingly, there's also a visible focus on South Asian countries, India and Sri Lanka, and YouTube partnerships, suggesting regional targeting that differs from previous game launches analyzed. I don't know what the thinking is there. Obviously, whoever's in marketing and sales at Ubisoft saw something there. No telling what. But gender distribution on sponsored content. Again, overwhelmingly male across all platforms, and then female on Twitch. I don't know what they're saying by other. Other being 15% on YouTube. That's I don't know where they're doing this. I mean, we're gonna focus on male and female. In which case, female viewership is obviously lower on YouTube for whatever reason, versus Twitch and TikTok. And I'm genuinely surprised. Genuinely surprised that female viewership is lower than male on TikTok. I figured that would be higher female viewership, but you know, video games. Not saying that women and girls don't play video games. I'm just saying that that's usually a male targeted hobby. But a notable aspect of Ubisoft's strategy was a substantial representation of female creators. And if you saw some of the female creators, you would understand exactly why they partnered with those creators. Again, it wasn't for the female demographic, it was for the male demographic. Particularly on Twitch, especially on Twitch, where they made up nearly a quarter of sponsored partnerships. And I guarantee those guys weren't watching because of Assassin's Creed. This is significantly higher than industry averages and suggests intentional diversity in creator selection, potentially to align with the game's female protagonists. No way. No. 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 Age demographics: 25 to 34 on Twitch, 25 to 34 on YouTube, 25 to 34 on TikTok. Again, older players. In fact, that's my age range of you folks that watch me. At least the highest age range that I've seen in my analytics are anywhere from 20 to, I even have a couple in the 50s, 60s, and 70s range, which, thank you to all the 70-year-olds that are out there watching me. That's fantastic. But yeah, these numbers make sense, right? Across all platforms, the 25 to 34 age bracket was heavily dominant, which aligns with the series' mature themes and Ubisoft's target demographic. Well, that's because I was a younger person back when the very first Assassin's Creed game came out, and now they're on Assassin's Creed number 5268, right? TikTok showed a slightly higher proportion of 18 to 24 creators compared to other platforms, but the overall focus remains squarely on millennial creators with established audiences. Makes sense, right? Makes sense. And in fact, a lot of the creators that I watch are in that age range. So, here we go. Now we get into some good numbers, right? Really good numbers. Top creators hired. Ubisoft secured partnerships with a diverse range of high-profile creators, investing heavily in established gaming personalities across major platforms. That's arguable. Number one was Hassan Piker, Hasanabi, on Twitch, who was paid $76,510. Right below him was Ilo Juan on Twitch at $72,505. I don't even know who the hell Ilo Juan is. I don't know who the rest of any of these creators are. Who is this guy? Oh, he's a Spanish YouTuber or Twitch streamer. So are his stream? Okay, his streams are in Spanish. That would explain the number of Spanish-speaking fanboys that were attacking me for not liking Assassin's Creed Shadows. They all came from this guy. I'm blaming him. Juan, you're a jerk, and your audience is psychotic. I'm just kidding. I don't know if it was him or not. But anyway, so Hassan and Juan were the top two paid creators here, right? And then you've got, oh, Tyler One. Why would they pay Tyler One? Bro, Tyler Juan is like Tyler Juan. Freudian slip. Tyler One is a League streamer. Like, Tyler One's been streaming as long, back when I was doing League of Legends streams. Holy shit. Glad to see he's still rocking. I mean, I like him. But look at that. Tyler One only got 37 grand. It looks like everybody else dipped below the 30K range, right? At least starting with whoever Oron is. Well, hold on. You got so Juan had two channels that he was promoting on Twitch and YouTube, and they paid him per channel. So in actuality, Ilo Juan got paid more than Hassan did by $28,500. Hey, get the bag. You gotta tell them, hey, you're gonna pay per platform, Ubisoft. Sorry. You want my TikTok audience? That's gonna be another 30 grand. That's exactly what Homeboy did. I already know. That's what I would have done. Right? But Hassan is strictly on Twitch, so he couldn't really do that. Because I'm pretty sure he would get banned anywhere else. You know, terrorist support notwithstanding. But, you know, just saying. But those two guys were the top paid, right? So looking at the top sponsored creators for Assassin's Creed Shadows reveals Ubisoft's strategic approach to influencers. Strategic? Strategic is not the word I would have looked for. It looks like they were picking anybody and everybody that they could. They know that Hassan has a huge audience. This guy has a huge Spanish-speaking audience. Obviously, they went, yo, I want them. I don't care if they game or not, which Hassan does minimal gaming streams unless he's being paid. And he got all up in arms about people, you know, calling him a shill. But here are the numbers. You got paid. You were shilling for the game. Sorry. Truth hurts. The campaign secured several marquee personalities commanding significant investments, with Hasanabi and Ilo Juan leading the pack at over 70,000 each. Juan got more than 70,000. This reflects Ubisoft's willingness to invest heavily in top-tier talent. Okay. With massive engaged audiences. I guarantee you, it was a minimal fraction of Hassan's audience that picked that game up. I guarantee it. I will bet money on it. Even after the Assassin's Creed account started dunking on Elon Musk and all these little, you know, Hassan clones came out the woodwork saying, oh, I'm definitely going to buy their game now. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're full of shit. On TikTok, there was a significant investment into Lorena Parkour, whose parkour expertise aligns perfectly with the game's movement mechanics. This demonstrates Ubisoft's thoughtful content matching rather than just pursuing raw numbers. Oh, okay, so they did it for that one. Unfortunately, the two videos from Lorena Parkour didn't pan out and severely underperformed her usual. There you go! That's exactly what I was saying. These people are watching their favorite content creators. They're not watching because it's Assassin's Creed. As much as Ubisoft wanted to dump money into this for that, it's not going to happen. It's just not. Unless it's a good game that doesn't have a ton of controversy surrounding it. In which case, yeah, that might work. But not this time. So this is just the breakdown of everything that I just talked about. But here's the last part that I want to read. Influencer selection. I'll be honest. I'm not sure I understand the specific strategy Ubisoft went for when it comes to creator selection. Thank you. On Twitch, they chose Hasanabi as their champion. I imagine he was actually far more expensive than the estimate above, as a creator his size gets to charge a premium. I'm sure he charged an arm and a leg for Ubisoft. I guarantee it. Mr. Anti-Capitalist I guarantee he was being a very staunch capitalist when they offered him, money to promote their game. But more specifically, Hassan barely streams gaming content, and when he does, it's almost always sponsored. Hassan's Assassin's Creed stream came in at half the viewership his streams normally do, which indicates a lack of interest from his core audience. Thank you. I also see they sponsored Tyler 1, which seems quite random. He streamed the game for 2 hours, then immediately went back to League of Legends. I believe this is not a winning formula for showcasing your game on Twitch. Also, thank you. So there you have it, right? So this is a pretty good breakdown of how Ubisoft spent their money marketing, which we already knew, right? We already saw the dumb stuff that they were promoting. I don't even know who half these creators are outside of Hassan, and I wish I didn't know who Hassan was. But it just looks like they were throwing money at as much stuff and casting as wide a net as possible to try and get as much positivity flowing around the game as they could, which I don't think is a winning formula, right? They could have easily invested that money back in the game, fixed all the stuff that people were bitching about, and they would have made money hand over fist. But that's not what they did. They just decided, hey, We're going to see what works. Here we go. Hey, well, you got some 20-year-old that goes, hey, I'll watch Hassan. Why don't we give him a bunch of money to promote the game? And you got some other 20-year-old guy over there going, yeah, that's a good idea. No. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense paying people like Hassan, paying people like Tyler One to promote the game. It doesn't. Sorry. And not only that, like I said earlier, the one creator that they did pay, or I don't even know if he or she was paid, I think it was a she, got banned because they made a mistake. They got banned for like 4 or 5 hours because Ubisoft made a mistake and went, oh, they're breaking the embargo. Nope. And that wasn't the case. So there were a lot of mistakes here by Ubisoft, in my opinion. A lot of mistakes when it comes to Assassin's Creed Shadows. And I think those mistakes are going to come back to bite them in the ass, especially moving forward. So we already saw that they sold off to 25% to Tencent and gave them all their major IPs. Their stock was in the dumps, at least as of today. Like, somebody over there needs to seriously reevaluate their career choices that's in leadership. Plain and simple. And until they do, I think the quality of game that comes out of Ubisoft is going to continue to tank until something changes. So, thanks for watching, everybody. I know this was a long one, but I wanted to get through this because there's actually some pretty interesting information in there. And for those of you that don't want to read it yourself, you can at least listen to me talk. So, thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm still not going to buy Assassin's Creed Shadows.